Hello guys, today I'm going to show you a technique called undervolting to extend your laptop computer's battery life by at least 20 to 30%. Depending upon the extent of undervolting, it can go higher. Uh, so, so to begin with, undervolting is a technique or a trick of providing the CPU and other core components of your computer lesser voltage than required or lesser voltage than specified by the manufacturer to operate. So setting this voltage at low levels will mean lesser consumption. Lesser consumption will indeed mean more battery. So for starters, undervolting is not gonna blow up your computer, it's not gonna set it on fire, it's not gonna damage it permanently. Unlike overclocking, undervolting is perfectly safe. But I must warn you, you might experience hangups or system crashes if you set the undervolting voltage too low. So in case that occurs, do not worry. The system next time the system automatically restarts, or the next time you boot up your computer, the default values will automatically load it and your system will be fine. So don't worry, it's not gonna blow up anything, it's not gonna damage your system. But as a statutory warning, I will not be responsible for anything that happens to your computer by following this trick or this guide. So let's start. Before we start, we need to do a few things to start with. Of course, you need a tool called Battery Info. You can download it for free. It shows how much millivolts is being consumed by your computer at that instant. See, I got about minus 12,656 millivolts. That's a lot because it's hot in here, so the cooling system is burning up a lot of energy. Otherwise, it'd be just about 4 or 5,000 milliwatts. So you need to keep an eye on this. So we'll close it to download it. I'm gonna show you. The first link. Okay, just download it. There's somewhere download here. Can't find it now. Cool. Yeah, there it is. Download. I already downloaded it, so I'm not gonna download it again. It's just about 115 KB. That's extremely small. So I'm not gonna download it again. You can just do it and install it. It's no big deal. So the main thing you require for this undervolting is a tool called the Intel Extreme Tuning Utilities. The Intel XDU is a tool released by Intel Corporation to completely tune your Intel components, and unfortunately it only works for Intel components. So if you have an AMD computer, don't get disappointed. You can use an alternative tool called Throttle Stop, which works just like as the Intel XDU. So you can follow the same procedure with Throttle Stop, but in this guide I'm going to use the Intel XDU. So download the Intel XDU from its site. It's about it's a bit big, and it is not compatible with all processors. It only works with some. It's compatible with the 4th generation Intel Haswell processors, 3rd generation Ivy Bridge, and 2nd generation Sandy Bridge, and all i3, i5, i7s are all supported, but it has issues with some Pentium processors and chipsets, and depending upon the manufacturer, it might not support your laptop or computer at all. So undervolting is good in both ways. It can reduce your power consumption, it can reduce the heat generated, but you have to be careful, you know. So download. There it is, and Extreme Tune today. Download the latest version, Windows 8.1 and 8. It's about 51 megabytes, and the supported processors are all listed somewhere, like here, and the description is provided here. Just download it, accept the license. Yes, there it is. Do you want to run save XU setup? I'm not gonna save it. I already have it installed in my computer, so I'm not going to download it again. But you guys download it, install it, and follow what I'm gonna show you next. So I'm gonna put it in, and then I have the Intel XU here. There it is, extreme tuning utilities popping up. Okay, there it is. It's gonna come up here when you first launch it. So here I have an i5 dual core i5-4210U processor, and the information all is gonna show here. And this is what you are looking at. CPU core voltage. It's at about 7.4.88 volts now. Depending upon your clock, the CPU clock, the voltage goes on rising and decreasing. I have a power planet balanced, so it automatically adjusts the frequency for most computers. I'm going to switch it to power save, and it shows the lowest voltage available. It's 7.71. No, it's going low. 0.6680 volts at 66% utilization. That's because the screen is being recorded, so there's a bit utilization, or else it will be a bit lower. So it's fine. It's 0.67 volts now. So this is what we're gonna reduce. This for that, first go to settings and check for updates if you want. Not recommended always. So you can all select how many what all graphs should be shown and all that stuff. Temperature and everything is being shown. Now the main part is here, manual tuning. Go into it, and this is where we're gonna make the change. See this processor cache voltage and processor cache voltage offset. This is for cache. Go to all controls. Okay, and core. Okay, so this is the CPU main control thingies. The core voltage is default. Do not touch any of this unless you know what you're doing. I wouldn't recommend touching them at all. Just go to this dynamic CPU voltage offset. That means how much voltage do you want to be reduced when supplying to the CPU than the default specified one. So you can decrease it, you can increase it if you want. That'll be overclocking. I'm not going to show you overclocking here, and I will not recommend overclocking a laptop because of its limitations in cooling systems. So I just reduced it to 0.97 millivolts. That's a very low, extremely low voltage, extremely low offset. So I'm gonna start by about 5.8 millivolts, and you click apply. That's all. So all the change will immediately reflect here. So after each change, you can lower it as much as you want, but you have to check if your system is stable at that voltage before doing it, before going any lower, because for that you will have to go to stress test, run a CPU stress test for just 1 minute suffice, and start testing. I'm not gonna test it now because, or I will just show you. Okay, it'll test your CPU for 1 minute, and it'll check if your CPU survives or not survives. If your CPU is stable at that voltage for 1 minute. After, if the text is passed, it'll show passed here. Here I've cancelled it, so it shows the stress test has been cancelled. That's fine. Go to core. So if it shows passed, it means the CPU is stable at that voltage. You can go lower, check it again, go lower. I have successfully done it up to 85 millivolts. It's an i5-4210U, so anybody having the same processor, it's safe up to minus 85 volts. After that, the system will keep crashing, so I don't recommend voltages after that. So it's about 0.85. Yep. So one more thing, do not decrease your CPU voltages rapidly or too much steps. Just reduce it gradually. Here I have checked it up to 85, so I'm gonna jump directly to 85. You guys just do it step by step. Don't jump too much high values. Okay, I played it. See, the CPU core voltage fell about 1 complete volt. It's at about 0.5860. It was at 0.67 volts, if you can remember. So that's about 100 millivolts difference. That's it. That's a lot. It's a bit a lot when compared to the restrained battery. So this is for the CPU. Then there is a cache. You can also reduce the cache voltages if you want. It can in the 4210i I have checked it up to 65 millivolts. Same mechanism for the cache. Decrease voltages step by step. Go to stress test. Check the memory stress test, not the CPU. But if you are at higher values, you should check all three of them: CPU, memory, and graphics. The graphics is here. It also has an offset voltage. This graphic offset voltage is for the embedded Intel HD graphics series GPUs inside the CPU. So it is not always running. It's just for keeping up the display up. It does not use its full power. The offset will only come into consideration or only come effective when you are doing something with it, like gaming or watching videos, high HD videos. This voltage offset will be applied. So you can reduce it like that, step by step. Check it and run it again, and you're gonna see a lot of difference in your CPU power consumption, as I told you. Depending upon the extent of your undervolting, your CPU or your lap battery will extend, of course it will extend, but be careful. Don't use too much high values in stepping. And in case if you have crashed your system, DXD uses a service called the Watchdog, which monitors your system, and if it detects an abnormal shutdown or an abnormal platform instability, it automatically restores default values, that is 0. It is automatically reduced defaulted to 0 next time system boots up. So no worries, your system won't go up in smoke. It's fine, it's all fine. Just make sure you don't disable that service. If it is disabled, then even when the system restarts, it won't default values. You'll have to do it manually. So that's it. That's all about undervolting. It's pretty easy. Just do this, close it, and forget it. It's running in the background. It's doing everything. You can check your power consumption here. But as I've already told you, see, it reduced by about 4,000 millivolts. That I already told you is a great value. If you reduce cache and graphics, you will get more. And it's a twofold advantage. Your system will use less power directly, and it'll stay cooler. So that means low power consumption for the cooling systems, which in turn extends battery more. So for more cool tricks and more advanced power saving tricks and techniques, visit us at deeptweaks.blogspot.com, and have a nice day, guys. For one more thing, for AMD users, follow the same procedure for throttle stop, a similar application designed independently. So for AMD users, follow throttle stop. I'm not gonna show it in this guide, but it's almost identical procedures. So great day, guys. Have fun.